Well, do we have any opera fans here this evening? We do, right? Well, that would be a good time for you to leave. We are going to desecrate the masters right now. We did a couple of times ago, we did the Russian rag, which was a takeoff on Rachmaninoff's Prelude, and so we've added another one here in the tradition of ragging the classics. This is called the Operatic rag. It's written by New York composer and band leader Julius Lenzberg, who wrote a number of pop rags. He did another one called the Hungarian rag, which was a takeoff on Franz Liszt's Second Hungarian Rhapsody. This came out in 1914. And I have an interesting article here from the Etude magazine, an old classical music magazine, from June 1918. It's called Ragging Good Music. And it was written by Edward Baxter Perry, who must have been a fanatic of the highest order. And this really sort of epitomizes the attitudes of popular music by classical musicians at that time. Some of that still exists today. It says, it is no uncommon thing in these days of rampant frivolity and seemingly almost universal imbecility to hear in hotels and other places of public gathering not only a continuous series of the trashiest ragtime pieces played on a mechanical piano or even by a so-called orchestra, which are a deliberate insult to all intelligent persons present, but even well-known good compositions by recognized composers of high standing, perverted and distorted all out of semblance to the original works, and vulgarized beyond the power of language to express by being changed and twisted into cheap ragtime rhythms. That's all one sentence. He must have been a great musician, but I bet he failed English. If musicians, so-called, will insist on prostituting their art, whatever talent they may possess, there is plenty of cheap stuff they might give without desecrating the works of the masters. I have heard that there were in New York surgeons who advertised to operate for the ragtime mania. And I should be willing to contribute something to encourage such an attempt. But I doubt they would find within the skulls of such musicians or their voluntary listeners sufficient brains in which to operate. Ragtime is syncopation gone mad, and its victims, in my opinion, can only be treated successfully like the dog with rabies, namely with a dose of lead. You guys aren't armed or anything. And it says, we have musical unions in many of our cities, and one of the first rules they should pass is that any member found guilty of what is called ragging a classic should be dismissed from the organization in disgrace, never again permitted to appear in any reputable organization. And it says, I know of one string quartet from Chicago who had 2 of their dates in Kansas canceled last season because they flatly refused to play ragtime. All honor to them. So I guess either we leave now or... So if you don't object too vehemently, we are going to do this piece, and perhaps some of you can even point out some of the strains that we're going to syncopate. We've been able to identify a few of them, but not all of them. So here we go, the Operatic rag. Hawaii was in there. Okay. I think Lowenbrau. We started off with a spring song, which is not off